LAPD is flying right over my apartment. All right, and doing so pursuant to an uncle 5 minutes ago in concert with the people who are group stalking. I want you to hear that, because that's all the amplification. And this is what the entity is doing 24/7. They're concentrating the helicopter activity over my apartment because I'm inside of my apartment, which is also where the fake sun is present, over my head at my apartment. And I'll show you that. This is why Heather Teal is going to federal prison. This is why this whole property that's filled with terrorists, all 59 units in the state of California who's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, are engaging in terrorism together. This is documentation of the sex offense when you're keeping an American citizen under surveillance inside of their private space, where that which is not possibly the sun, it's not only present at the property, it's directly over my head at the property. It's currently 1:59 p.m. And this is also documentation showing the demon possession of that stalker that's flying a helicopter, and that is representative of the condition of Dominic Choi. He's demon possessed. He is also engaged in terrorism. That's why they're engaging in this criminal conduct. It's of a demonic nature, and so are the men and women of the LAPD. This is P.O.C. There's a light source right above me. You're looking at relevant positioning. And this is while the entity is hovering directly over my apartment at this time. It's 2 p.m. and that's called relevant positioning as well. This whole property is filled with the likes of that. Those are called third parties. They're acting in concert together. As I documented at my arrival to my apartment, walking on the sidewalk, and the light source is directly over the top of my head. It's at the same position that it was at as I walked to my apartment. It's at the same position as I'm documenting, by the way, at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's at the same position when I'm still at this property after 5 p.m. And that's the ongoing pattern of conduct. And the people of the state are group stalking at the staircase downstairs. And this is the same people of the state that Heather Teal, who represents the people of the state, are referencing when they are together engaging in this criminal system in concert with LAPD, who are referenced in that criminal act of obstruction of justice, where the LAPD representing the state of California, who are engaged in criminal monitoring me, engaging in sex offense and terrorism, and then trying to obstruct justice by telling me that I cannot document the fact that they're threatening my life, keeping me under surveillance inside of my apartment and while I'm on the job. Heather Teal is going to federal prison, okay? So is the whole corporate office in Palo Alto, and everybody that lives at Alvarado Gardens are going to federal prison. This is a sex offense that they're engaging in. The entity is repeatedly flying over my apartment. Did so it's currently 2 o'clock when they're flying over, flew over moments earlier at approximately 1:53 p.m. and flying over again, which is repeatedly crossing path in concert with the people of the state, Maria Mercado and a minor child, who are creating light activity, while the entity is repeatedly pacing above my apartment where the fake sun is over my apartment. Everything okay? P.O.C. with minor children. So she's going to federal prison, and that minor child's going to be taken from her custody as well. Monitoring and looking perplexed. Oh, where's that sound coming from? And they're group stalking together. They're under the fake sun that's still at the same position as I showed you on video after 5 o'clock, and I'm at this same location. This is P.O.C. That's for understanding the malice of the people of the state who engage in kidnapping, criminal defamation, and this is the entity that is engaging in what is ongoing demonic behavior, and doing so in concert with the demons that are stalking in a helicopter at 2:02 p.m. So I want to make sure that you're understanding that as I walk back to the back portion of my apartment, sounding more helicopter activity, which is audible activity that's occurring in concert with Maria Mercado of 1816 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6. She's engaging in what is crossing path. This is group stalking with a minor child under the light source in the specific environment, pursuant to the same pattern of conduct. This is what waste management is doing, engaging in the elements of monitoring by using a dumpster truck, okay, under a light source that's still over the same property. Let me be clear, where I was standing, my leasing office is right there. That was at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the fake sun is directly over me at the same address. That's not the sun. That's called light activity creation. Doing so with minor children is of being removed from minor children who are engaged in terrorism in the state of California. This is not a third world country where the government is training and acting in concert with minor children engaging in terrorism. This is in the U.S. where the government is using and engaging in terrorism with minor children who are acting in concert with the people of the state. Okay, the entity doing so in concert with Center for Better Life, and they're arriving moments earlier while the entity flew over my apartment, and the entity that's monitoring what I'm uploading onto the internet, which is my podcast, which all the entity is aware of. All the entity is also hostile to it, and all of the entity engages in the pattern of more of that criminal system, the more that I expose them. This particular driver is going to federal prison while pacing with minor children and those that live on the grounds. This is the same driver who engages in with directed light that moves all across the apartment buildings, and he is indeed here engaging in the same pattern of conduct. That's called impunity. And doing so with is monitoring in concert with the LAPD that flew over by helicopter. It is, again, 2:04 p.m. This is pacing on Alvarado. That's pacing. And this is, again, the regularly terrorist that is Center for Better Life. That particular driver, the Latino male, engaged in federal stalking and also engaged in ongoing terrorism with the people of the state who are creating light activity and relevant positioning while engineered light moves across apartment buildings. That's the pattern of conduct. Okay, he's going to federal prison in particular. Monitoring inside of a private space while coming and picking up and dropping off the people of the state. What, for example, Lyft engages in while engineered light moves across the asphalt. While I'm here in the morning and I'm still here in the afternoon, and that's not the sun nor is that sunlight. This while they're here in the morning and the fake sun is over me, and their documented presence at 8 o'clock in the morning under the fake sun in concert with LAPD, he's going to federal prison. This is documentation of impunity. And they literally did the same thing about 7 minutes ago. So he just came, picked up somebody, dropped them off, and came right back in order to engage in monitoring. Because he was here less than 10 minutes ago. So I point that out. That's P.O.C. This is maintenance of presence of the path. And all I'm doing is pointing out the ongoing elements of monitoring. And the people of the state are definitely going to be losing custody of the minor children that they are employing in federal group stalking and monitoring. This is abuse that the federal government is made aware of while they are employing minors to engage in the elements of group stalking in concert with the state. This is the government that's relying on presence. You're looking at the light activity. That's not sunlight. That's engineered light that they're staying in. And at nightfall, they walk and engage in the same thing while they have multiple shadows, while a light source is hovering over the top of my head. It is currently 2:05 p.m. and this is P.O.C. This is minor children to engage in, by the way, what is a sex offense inside of a private space, and the LAPD is relying on minor children to engage in the elements of monitoring. So this is, again, when you're translating that into the criminalization of the state system, engaging in minor children to create what is light activity while you're monitoring inside of a private space in the demonic environment, which is terrorizing an American citizen with real-time knowledge. And Maria Mercado and Daisy Arroyo are the people of the state that are in the custody of a minor child with whom they are employing in the elements of monitoring. And this is a psychopath who's looking up in the sky as, where's that sound coming from? Who is that? While she is group stalking, is deliberately engaging in strategic placement and light activity, the concerted behavior while walking by, which is crossing path light activity, while the entity is stalking me in a helicopter, the same exact template of what is the P.O.C. and engaging in what is demonic pacing while just going back and forth with a minor child. So I want to be clear. It is currently 2:06 p.m. Maria Mercado is indeed going to federal prison, and then she's going to be deported back to her place of origin. I believe her daughter Daisy is a natural born citizen, and this grandchild of hers is, but Maria Mercado is going to be deported out of the country, and she will never be a recipient of federal housing. She's on Section 8, and she's engaged in criminal conduct with the state of California. Criminal conduct of this nature will be disqualification from ever receiving federal housing benefits. And while Speaker Companies is group stalking with Maria Mercado and the people of the state pacing up and down Alvarado Street, coming onto the ground such as Center for Better Life while keeping me under surveillance on the venue of the internet, they are simultaneously federal housing policies while maintaining knowledge of social security numbers and the personal information that I regularly deal in as the property manager here, the property manager who is under surveillance, and everything that I look at, everything that I deal with, everything that I talk about is public information, and they are simultaneously violating those federal housing laws. Both the property management companies, Speaker Companies, and all the employees of Speaker Companies, and the people of the state, including the state that's stalking in a helicopter, which is a whole other separate and distinct grounds of federal prosecution of the people and the state of California. So I want to make sure you got that. The entity flies over my apartment at 2. I go to the front door. You're looking at the fake sun. I walk back to my bedroom. The entity is still sounding helicopter activity. That is not going anywhere. Still maintaining presence while you see Maria Mercado and a minor child engaging in concert with minor children. The entity engages in sexual violence and terrorism, and the state of California, stalking in helicopters, engages in the criminal system with minor children, like in third world countries. This is happening in the U.S., and they're doing so, and the criminalization, the fact of it's occurring in a private space, the government's going to be prosecuted for what it is. It's a sex offender. Keeping me under surveillance while also my panties are down, while I'm physically indisposed. Any and everything that I'm ordering online, what I'm looking at, my bank accounts, my credit cards, everything is a matter of public information, including any personal and private events that are occurring inside of your private space. That's a sex offense, like any other stalker that should not be. And the entity does this as a population. Center for Better Life is so pathetic. They came onto the grounds less than 9 minutes later just to return in order to engage in the elements of monitoring in concert. And I have never seen an entity that is so anxious to be exposed as demonic and going to federal prison. That particular driver and the Asian male, they're both going to federal prison. And Center for Better Life is readily identifiable as a terrorist. He's present on this grounds at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the fake sun is over me at the same property at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I want to be clear. You are already aware of what he is and what he's doing. And he is so pathetic. He was just here less than 10 minutes, like I stated in the video, because they're engaging in the elements of monitoring in concert with LAPD. I did not hop up to capture video of it. They're so thirsty. And I'm referencing in the vernacular right now. They're so thirsty, meaning they're so desperate and hungry for my attention. I'm the one whom they are stalking. I'm the one who is exposing them. And Satan, that demented mind state, is desperate for acknowledgement. This is not acknowledgement. This is prosecution. Maria Mercado's going to federal prison. That driver of the Center for Better Life employee is going to federal prison. The old lady on the cane, she's going to federal prison. Okay, and whatever country she came from, she's going right back. They're going to put her on a plane. She's out of this country. Okay, so I want to be clear. You have a whole population that is so desperate for attention. While it's both hostile, it's also obsessed. That's the demon possession at work. That's a public safety concern. Your obsession is to the point to where you are risking any and everything, because that's the extent that you'll go to continuously engage in what is demonic conduct, the demonic behaviors that are centered on where I'm at in the unnatural environment. That's not the sun that would still be over the same property. And that's still, by the way, going to be over me at the same. It's over me right now inside of apartment 1806. After 5 p.m. is what you saw on video while I'm looking at it. And it's over this building that I'm facing, building 1818. That's not the natural environment. That's speaking to the demon possession that you just saw at work. Center for Better Life, Maria Mercado, demons looking up. Oh, what's going on? Who's talking? Oh, where's that coming from? Those are psychopaths. Those are psychopaths. The entity is engaging in a very specific pattern of conduct. In other words, they engage in the same thing over and over and over again. And you are then aware of the mental illness. This is not insanity such that they don't know. This is malice, such as psychopaths who want to maliciously target. Okay, that's a sex offense that's underway. I want to be clear, by minor children. The federal government is taking these minor children from the people of the state. It is indeed P.O.C. It's currently 2:11 p.m. That is LAPD that's engaging in the ongoing pattern of conduct by any means, any demon driving onto the grounds just to maintain the elements of monitoring, which is what Center for Better Life represents, which is exactly what Waste Management was documented engaging in under that light source that's still over the same property and will be over me at the same leasing office that I returned to as I walk downstairs back to the leasing office. This is P.O.C.